Welcome back to the substitutes, and we're looking at another missed opportunity. This was Arsenal's title challenge in 2015-2016 when Leicester won the league. We did a previous one on their 07-08 team, link in the bio below. Majid, talk to me about this one. It seems like we always seem to be talking about Arsenal.
Yeah. No one flames out quite like the Gunners. That season, it was a squad of consistency. They sort of kept going with what they had. The only major signing was that Petr Cech came in, big goalie there. Other than that, it was a squad highlighted by Ozil, Giroud, Walcott, Ramsey, a good Sanchez, young Welbeck, Bellerin, Flamini, Carzola, Coquelin, Iwobi, and Mertesacker were also part of it. So a very solid, very flexible, very good squad, to be honest. At least on paper.
At least on paper, but they had some good players who started the season. Carzola, for example, up until November before his injury. And I remember there was good optimism around this squad when Petr Cech was signed. The fans thought that maybe this could be the year that they mount the title challenge. Didn't quite turn out that way. They started the season badly. But before we go into that, talk to me about what went right for them that season.
Well, they had a number of goal scorers. Ozil scored 6, Giroud scored 16, Walcott scored 5, Ramsey scored 5, Sanchez scored 13, Welbeck scored 4. So they had a whole bunch of distribution and goal scorers, which is always a positive. And at that point, it looked like a very cool young team, right? So like it wasn't just supposed to be that year; it was going to be the upcoming years that were also going to be exciting and full of goals and hopes and dreams. The other really good point that happened for Arsenal, or from their point, it was very positive, was they actually beat Leicester both times that season, 5-2 and then 2-1. So from Arsenal's perspective, they were better than the best team twice, but they weren't good against the other teams, I guess.
It was a little bit of a weird thing about this season, wasn't it? Now, you mentioned that they had a good record against Leicester, but their form, and even the form of the other teams, and we'll get to the opposition after this, but look at their form. Here, Arsenal had 20 wins, 11 draws, and 7 losses. It's not a championship winning side. Compare that to Leicester, though. Not much of a difference. Fine, 23 wins for Leicester, 12 draws, and 3 losses. And then Spurs, 19 wins, 13 draws, and 6 losses. I mean, when you look at all of these together, none of them really look like championship winning side, like a championship winning side. And it just felt a little bit weird. Like this was the side that this was this year that Arsenal could have won something because all the other big clubs were in transition. When you look at Man United, when you look at Chelsea, for example, you look at Liverpool, none of them were as strong as they could have been. So why do you think it went wrong for them that season when none of these teams were doing well? And talk to me about the opposition as well.
Yeah, well, it was an attritional season. I mean, all the clubs, every big club was in transition. Liverpool, Brendan Rodgers was out. Klopp came in. That's your beginning from, you're beginning from starting all over again. United, LVG, the LVG project was happening, was underway. Darmian, Depay, again a season in transition. City, Pep had already been announced before the season ended, so that was Pellegrini's last season. So they had already decided that they were moving on. Chelsea, that was the worst defense title ever, or like one of them. 4 losses, first 8 games.
Yeah.
Out, hitting in. Tottenham was probably the only consistent Big Six team, and they're probably the one who should have challenged the most, and kind of did throughout the season, more than Arsenal even, until the last day, of course.
Like, man, that Chelsea game, the Battle of the Bridge, that was something really special to watch. That Tottenham side was also like it was a good side to watch, but Arsenal got bragging rights over them and they finished above them on the final day of the season, which is just hilarious when you look at it. I remember watching that game. with a friend, and Tottenham fell apart, and Arsenal won their game. And my friend, he's an Arsenal fan, he just started laughing. This is the saddest second place I've ever seen. And this kind of, that's Arsenal for you, isn't it? Like, everyone was in transition. And even Tottenham fell apart right at the end of the year that Arsenal managed to bag second. It just felt really weird when you looked at the results of all these teams that really, this is why I feel that Arsenal could have won the title that season. And is this something that you kind of feel as well? Like, this was their chance. Because everyone was so bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. This was it, and it sort of is the saddest second place. And it is the most Arsenal thing to be better than the first place team, but still not win the season. I don't know. It's a very, all of these stats and things, they all are very Arsenal. I should add here against the Big Six, Arsenal was 4-5-3, 4 wins, 5 draws, 3 losses. Leicester against that same Big Six was also 4-5-3. So Arsenal did not, they didn't lose any points net versus vis-a-vis Leicester against the Big Six. They dropped points against the non-Big Six, which is, if you're a top 6 coach, manager, whatever, that's unacceptable. Especially 11 draws and 7 losses, right? Like, you want some of those draws to move into the wins, and you want some of those losses to move into the draws, which is what Leicester did.
Absolutely.
And so the source of that, for me, comes down to, they got Petr Cech, which was a really good move, veteran guy, goal-stopping machine, all of that. But I think they could have also added depth or toughness, specifically toughness, at striker. Someone like a dirty Diego Costa or a Luis Suarez, who would have turned some of those draws that were peppered throughout the season, at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. He would have been able to turn those draws into wins or those losses into draws.
That's a fair point, by the way. They were lacking that 30 goal a season striker, like your Didier Drogba, the one that you love the most. In 07-08, they had Adebayor, who scored 30 goals in a season. And it was just very strange to look at it. Like, when you're looking at the results, they would draw with Liverpool. They would sometimes beat Manchester City, but like, the whole season was just like patches. Like, they would go on a good run in October, for example, and then things would fall apart. In December, they had a great December, and then suddenly they lost 4-0 to Southampton. They still managed to finish the year top. And this is the weird thing about that Arsenal side. And it kind of, the mentality of that goes back to another incident, William Gallas against Birmingham back in 08. You kind of felt that this really affected them quite a lot, that they never had the mental toughness after that. And it really showed in this season. Don't you think?
And that's where I think a dirty striker or somebody would have been able to elevate that mentality, or harden it, if not elevate it, harden it, so that they could survive, so that they could get over the tough days, the difficult days. There was definitely, since that William Gallas incident, that has been the club's psyche, right? To be soft, not tough, not hard, not gritty. And that showed. It showed throughout the season. They had 2 losses, 1 draw in their first 6 matches.
Yeah.
They had a draw between match game 12 to 14. They lost in week 18, just before they were number 1 for a month after that. From match day 19 to 23, they were number 1. And then again, 21 to 24, match day 21 to 24, draw, loss, draw. 27 to 29, loss, draw. In their final 7 matches, there were 4 draws. Some of them are decent, against City, they're drawing and stuff. But then there's these howlers in the middle, always peppered in the middle, 0-4 Southampton, and you can't have I don't remember a championship team that loses 4-0 to Southampton, honestly.
This is why when we look at this squad, I know that we feel like it's a missed opportunity because they reached second on the last day of the season. But at the same time, you look at, for example, Leicester. Leicester had not the greatest start to the season, a couple of losses and a lot of draws. And then they just went on a spectacular run. Like when you look at it, there were so many wins. There were stuff in green basically saying, okay, this is a good run. Arsenal never really got that run. But I still felt that they could have achieved something this season. And this is why I feel like it's a missed opportunity. I love the Leicester story. It is a Cinderella story. But out of all the years, and just because everybody was terrible, this was a year that Arsenal could have won the Premier League title. And perhaps they should have won it. More so than 07-08. I know they came against that amazing United side. And I know that side was better than this 15-16 Arsenal side. But it just feels like another missed opportunity.
Just as much for Arsenal, I think it's a missed opportunity for Tottenham as well.
Yeah.
Both of them should be disappointed, and I think had Wenger capitalized fully on this, on the fact that all the other his opposition is all in transition and they don't know what they're doing either, had he been able to capitalize, and he should have, because his was the one squad of consistency, or there wasn't that much change, in the back office and even in the lineup. So he should have, and I think it would have been a legacy definer or a legacy changer, definitely, for Arsene Wenger to win a league that late on in his career.
I think that's a really good point. It would have changed the way we look at Wenger, because his early years were so defined by success and people really loved him. And his later years was more defined by Wenger out. We love him, some fans, but we kind of want to see him leave. It would have been a really nice way for him to end his Arsenal career with a Premier League victory so late on, with a side, to be honest, that wasn't great. And you bring up another point that I really think that I want you guys to let us know in the comments below. Should we turn this into a series? Should we look at how Tottenham fared and their missed opportunity? If you liked the video, give it a like. It would go a long way. And please subscribe, guys. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you guys next time.